The bell of Crestwood Academy rang with its usual bright chime, but everyone knew that the day would soon dim when Isabella Cross walked through the gates. She was the daughter of Adrian Cross, the billionaire CEO whose tech empire stretched across continents. Her designer shoes clicked lightly against the marble hallway, her perfect uniform crisp and cold as winter air. Students parted like waves to let her pass, but not a single hello was returned. Isabella hadn't spoken a single word since transferring 6 months ago. Teachers tried coaxing, counselors tried gentle therapy, even the principal attempted small talk, but Isabella remained a fortress of silence. Rumors grew wilder each week. Some whispered that she was too proud to speak to ordinary people. Others believed something terrible had happened in her past. When group projects came, she simply stared, wrote notes if forced, and delivered nothing aloud. Her eyes, though, betrayed storms, deep oceans of thought no one could enter. Among those quietly fascinated by her was Daniel Hayes, a new English teacher barely making ends meet. Daniel had joined Crestwood after a string of failed freelance writing gigs. His apartment was tiny, his savings thinner than a sheet of paper, and the looming shadow of unpaid student loans followed him everywhere. But Daniel carried an unshaken love for stories and a stubborn belief that words, spoken or written, could heal. One chilly afternoon, the principal called Daniel into her office. "Mr. Hayes," she said, folding her hands, "we've tried everything with Isabella Cross. Her father demands results. He's threatening to pull her out if we can't get her to participate. You have a reputation for creative methods. Maybe you can reach her." Daniel left the office both honored and anxious. He had no magic formula. But he remembered something his grandmother once said: "A locked heart opens to the right story, not the right key." So he began observing Isabella, noticing the way her eyes lingered on the library window during his lessons, the way her fingers traced invisible lines on the edge of her desk. A week later, Daniel handed her a handwritten note during class: "Every voice holds a story. Would you share yours without speaking?" Under it, he left a small blank notebook. To his quiet astonishment, she accepted it without a glance and slipped it into her bag. Days passed. No response. Yet Daniel refused to give up. He continued teaching about the power of narrative, about authors who turned pain into art. One morning, he found the notebook on his desk. Only one page had writing, a short, haunting poem about a bird trapped in a glass cage, wings beating against invisible walls. No name, no explanation. Just raw emotion. Daniel's heart raced. He wrote back in the same notebook: "Every bird longs for sky. Tell me more." Thus began their silent exchange. Poem after poem, sketch after sketch, Isabella slowly revealed a world of loneliness, the crushing weight of expectations, and memories of a mother lost too soon. But the true test came when the school announced its annual spoken word festival, a night where students shared original pieces on stage. Daniel knew this was a chance, perhaps the only one, for Isabella to break her silence. Yet asking her outright might push her further away. He placed the final note in the notebook: "Some stories are meant to be heard. If you stand on that stage, I'll stand with you." The night of the festival arrived, the auditorium buzzing with parents and peers. Backstage, Daniel scanned the performers list: no Isabella. His heart sank. Maybe he had asked too much. As the lights dimmed and the first students took the microphone, Daniel resigned himself to quiet disappointment. Then, midway through the program, a hush swept through the crowd. Isabella Cross walked onto the stage, her posture regal yet trembling. The spotlight fell on her like a challenge. She clutched the small notebook against her chest. For a breathless moment, the audience waited. And then, her voice, clear and steady, sliced through the silence. She began with the poem of the bird in the glass cage, but it didn't stop there. Word after word poured forth, her story unfurling like a storm finally set free. She spoke of feeling invisible behind her father's wealth, of a childhood shadowed by endless travel and empty mansions, of a mother whose gentle laughter she still heard in dreams. She spoke of the pressure to be perfect, to smile for cameras while her heart ached. Every syllable was music and revelation. Teachers wiped their eyes. Students who once gossiped now sat in awed silence. Adrian Cross himself had flown in that night and stood at the back, his usually commanding presence softened by tears he couldn't hide. When Isabella finished, the auditorium erupted in thunderous applause. She lowered the notebook and looked straight at Daniel, who nodded with quiet pride. In that moment, a fortress crumbled. After the show, Adrian approached Daniel. "I don't know what you did," he said, voice thick with emotion, "but you've given me back my daughter." He extended a business card, offering a generous donation to the school and a promise of support for Daniel's struggling department. But for Daniel, the true reward was the spark in Isabella's eyes as she spoke with classmates, laughing softly, her first spoken conversation in years. He knew she didn't need saving. She just needed someone to listen until she found the courage to speak. Weeks later, Isabella started a student writing circle, mentoring others to share their truths. Daniel's English class became the heart of Crestwood, buzzing with creativity and connection. Word of the transformation spread, inspiring other schools and teachers who believed in the quiet power of storytelling. And Daniel? His own writing flourished again, fueled by the experience of witnessing a silent voice turn into a melody that could move hearts. He often told his students, "Never underestimate the story inside you. It might be the key to someone else's freedom."